it seems like a lot of you guys are enjoying the Smash Bros videos on the channel, which trust me, you're going to be getting a lot of Smash Bros related videos on this channel because, well, I'm a dude that loves Super Smash Bros. And I wanted to make this video talking about the Legend of Zelda franchise because this was, something I was thinking about in my head, not just to, put out a video on the YouTube channel and hear other people's thoughts on it whenever they stumble across this video, but it's something that I've been thinking about for the past couple years now, and also ever since Super Smash Bros. Brawl. What I mean by that is that The Legend of Zelda has not had a representative for their franchise ever since Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And I'm going to be going more in depth with that when it comes to exactly what I mean here. I don't want to give everything away in the beginning of the video, but it really makes me think like, okay, when is it going to happen next? Obviously, it didn't happen in Smash 4 Ultimate. Fingers crossed whenever the next Smash game it happens. But we're basically going to be talking about all of that here. So if you guys have any thoughts of your own when it comes to how you guys feel about this topic or any characters that come to mind, I'm not going to really get into characters in this video, just mainly the whole topic of conversation around it. Let me know in the comments. We could talk about it. And yeah, let's get straight into this. So when I really sit down and think about The Legend of Zelda when it comes to Smash Bros, one of the first things that stands out to me is just how long it's actually been since we've gotten a brand new character from that series. Because if you really go all the way back, the last time that actually happened was in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and that's when we got Toon Link. And ever since then, it's just been the same lineup over and over again with no real additions. And that's something that honestly feels kind of crazy to me when you think about how big Zelda actually is. It's not like Zelda is one of those franchises that only gets attention every once in a while. This is one of Nintendo's biggest series overall. Like, when you start thinking about all their major titles, Zelda is always right there in the conversation. So you would think by default it would be one of those franchises that constantly get new representation in Smash, but for whatever reason, that just hasn't been the case, and that's what makes this stand out even more. Because when you compare it to other series that have gotten multiple new characters over time, it just makes Zelda feel like it's been kind of stuck in a place. Like, nothing has really changed for it in Smash outside of small updates, and that's really the main thing I keep coming back to, because we're not just talking about a small series here, we're talking about something that has been a major part of Nintendo for years. So when I look at it from that perspective, it just makes me start asking the question, is it finally time for that to change? Because at this point, it's been way too long for Zelda to go without getting a brand new representation in Smash, and it just feels like something that should have happened already. And yeah, I already know someone is going to bring this up because technically speaking, Link did get updated in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with his moveset being based on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I'm not going to sit here and act like that didn't happen, because it did. And it actually think it was a good change overall because it made Link feel more in line with what was currently going on in that game. But at the same time, I don't really look at that as the same thing as getting a brand new character, because at the end of the day, that's still Link. It's just a different version of him with updated abilities. And that's something Smash does all the time whenever a new game comes out. They take elements from that and adjust the character to match it, and that's cool, but it doesn't really solve the bigger issue. Because what I'm really talking about here is actual representation, like bringing in someone new from the Zelda series that hasn't been playable before, not just changing what we already have. And I feel like that's where the difference comes in, because updating a moveset is one thing, but adding a whole new character is something completely different. And that's why I don't think moveset changes should count as a replacement for a new rep, because if that was the case, then you could say a lot of the series don't need new characters. But that's not really how people look at it when it comes to Zelda, and I feel like it deserves more than just updates at this point. Now, when it comes to what Nintendo might actually do with the next Smash Bros. Game, that's where things get a little more unclear for me, because we don't really know what direction they're going to take, and that's part of what makes this whole conversation interesting, because there's a lot of different ways they could go about it. Like, yeah, you could look at The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and assume they might take something from that, because that's the most recent major Zelda game, and that would make sense on paper. But at the same time, I feel like that would probably just lead to another situation where Link just gets adjusted again instead of them actually adding a new character. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that wouldn't be cool, because it probably would be, but it just goes back to the same issue, because now we're just updating Link again instead of expanding the roster for Zelda. And I feel at some point you have to move past that and actually bring something new into the mix. So for me, it's less about what they could do with Link and more about whether or not they're finally going to take that step and give Zelda another representative, because that's really what feels like it's missing right now. Another thing I've been thinking about is whether Nintendo is just waiting for the next big Zelda game to pull a character from, and if that's the case, then it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it also feels like we've already been waiting long enough for something like that to happen. Like, yeah, there's rumors about a Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake, but at the end of the day, that's not even confirmed yet, so it's hard to really use that as a solid expectation. And even if it does happen, there's no guarantee that it's going to lead to a new Smash character anyway. And that's really where the frustration comes in, because it feels like we're always waiting for the next thing to justify adding a new character, instead of just recognizing that Zelda already has enough history and importance to deserve another rep without needing that extra push. Because when you really look at everything the series has done over the years, it's more than earned that spot. And I feel like at this point, waiting for another game shouldn't be the deciding factor anymore. At the end of the day, this really just comes down to how I feel about Zelda as a franchise, because when I look at everything it represents for Nintendo, it just feels like it should have more presence in Smash than it currently does, especially when you consider how long it's been since we've gotten something new. And I'm not even saying they need to go crazy and add a bunch of characters all at once. I'm saying one new representative would go a long way, because it would finally show that the series is still being expanded in Smash instead of just being maintained. Because right now it kind of feels like Zelda is just there, like it's just part of the roster, but it's not really evolving in the same way other series have over time. And that's the part that stands out to me the most. So when I look ahead to the future of Smash Bros, whenever the next game actually happens, one of the biggest things I want to see is Zelda finally getting that new rep, because honestly, it just feels like it's time. And this is coming from somebody that hasn't played Tears of the Kingdom yet. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a great game. I heard it was from a lot of friends. I only gotten so far in the Breath of the Wild games, but I just want a little bit more than just, okay, let's update, insert character names, moveset, and that's it. Like I said, the only Zelda representatives that we have in Smash is just Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, Toon Link, and Young Link. Outside of that, no other representation. And I just want a little bit more of that. Like, I just want like some other character here that would, you know, represent Zelda, like maybe somebody like Impa or Skull Kid or whatever the case may be, at least what makes the most sense. Like, that's just something that I really want, because, you know, I look at Mario, I look at Pokemon, I'm like, okay, you know, those series have a lot of characters, and it makes a lot of sense why they do, because they're very popular franchises. But when I look at Zelda as well, I'm like, you know, you got to have a little bit more than that. There's other characters you can pull from the game and throw them in here. You could even look at how they play in like the Hyrule Warrior games, and you could just kind of like intertwine how they play in that game if you want to get some sort of ideas for like a moveset if you're bringing a character in or something. Like, you know, I just want some sort of representation. So this actually leads me to my next question. Like, how do you guys feel about this? One, let me know in the comments. And two, what sort of ideas do you guys have when it comes to another rep in the Zelda franchise? Let me know those thoughts in the comments. We could talk about it, of course. If you enjoyed this video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on my social media, be sure to check out my X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. All the links are located in the description below, so be sure to follow me on there. Be sure to check out my Discord server. The link is pinned in the comments. Be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I'm dropping a new video on the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, whatever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.